guess we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Jason Kessel. I'm the creative director at Green Rope. And today we're going to be going over on the how and what of building your website using Green Rope. We're going to be covering some basic stuff like adding your logo, the basic setup of your website, choosing a template, and customizing that template. And speaking of customizing the template, the goal of this will be to take a template where you would think that it wouldn't work for you and actually turn it into something that would. For example, we're going to take a sort of feminine looking website template and turn it into more of a sportswear themed website. So what we'll do is we'll customize that template and we'll adjust the content, and we'll add some call to action buttons using our image editor. We'll add a store item, and we'll link that store item into the call to action button, and then we'll go ahead and we'll create a basic landing page once we're done with that. And as a reminder, I would like everyone, if you have any questions, to please wait till after I'm done with my demonstration, because then we can go over the questions in a lot more timely fashion. So without further ado, let's get started. Actually, before we get started, what I'll do is I'll show you what this is what the finished result will look like when we're done with today's demonstration. This is the actual website that we're going to design today. And once we're done with that, we'll do a landing page, which will look something sort of like this. So anyways, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is when you go to the, when you log into Green Rope, you'll go to the main website link there, and you can either just click on website or click on manage site. And once you do, it will load this screen that you see here. I'm not going to cover all of this that you see here because we've already done that in past webinars, but I'm just going to get some basic setup here of my website so that you get an idea of how to get started. So like, for example, for this website that I'm building here, I do not want the group name to show up in the header, so I'm going to set that to no, because we're going to be putting a logo in there instead. And so instead of having text showing the name of my website, which you could put right here if you wanted to, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to have a logo in the actual header of the website. And the same applies to the calendar year. We're not going to be using that function. We're not going to have people join the group. We're not going to have a news blog, and we're not going to have a member login. So once I've set all that, I just go ahead and click save, and we're good to go there. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and start designing. And this is the sort of feminine looking website template that I was mentioning earlier. It's called Fashionable Pro. It's one of our many website templates that we have available. It's sort of a pastel-y colored website. And a lot of people don't know this because we've gotten some feedback from people, and sometimes people will say, well, you have a lot of templates, but I don't like them. And I think for some reason people don't understand that you can actually take a template and you can change it to where it looks completely different just by changing a few colors around and adding some different content. So that being said, the first thing I'm going to do for this particular template is I'm going to choose a background image to make it a little different. So I'll just go through a couple different examples here. Like, let's say if I wanted a blue water background, it'll change that background image to like blue water. Or let's say I wanted this interesting pattern, it would take and put a pattern behind there. And just by doing that, it's already changed the way the website looks quite dramatically. But for this demonstration, like I said, I was going to turn it into more of a masculine, more a sportswear theme. So I already have, by the way, these images that I'm choosing here, they're already stored in my media library. So that's how they show up here, as this quick access function. So I'm going to choose this grass image that I've uploaded. And don't worry if it looks a little cut off there. Once we start adding content in, it'll stretch things down and it'll look much nicer. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to change this color of this navigation bar. I wanted something a little more flashy, and you'll see why I say the word flashy here in a moment. So all I need to do here is I think I'm going to use some red color, and it should just take a second and then it automatically updates. And since this is actually like a ribbon, you'll see at a fuller, more full size that there's actually like a little bit of a wrap that goes around there. So that's what these little fold colors are. So to give it a little more depth, I'm going to change those to a darker red color. So I did the left side and the right side. And let's see, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this color, this brown beige color down here at the bottom, which actually you can't really see it, but there's actually two different fields here that will change, and I'll show you that here. So like for the bottom background color, I actually want to choose like a dark charcoal gray. And you can see here where it just did that little strip there. And then there's another one down here, the background color, which is all of the background. And this will change depending on whichever template you have. A lot of these little naming sequences here on the left, they change depending on whatever template you've chosen. So I want it to be the same color as the charcoal that I've chosen, so I'm just going to pick that same color. So as you can see, just by doing that, it's already changed quite a bit. But it's probably hard to see on your screens, but there's actual text links down here at the bottom, and they're black, and that makes them a little hard to read. So I'm going to fix that real quick here. See a bottom navigation link color? I'm going to just change that to white. It takes just a second to refresh, and now that's white. What's going on here is this is like a quick preview of how your website will look. So it's hard to tell, but this is actual HTML content. You can see my cursor change. I can actually highlight stuff, but this is just for preview only. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and save all my changes that I've done. So now that I've actually made the website template the way I wanted. In fact, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and open that up in a new tab, and you can see the full size here. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go back and let's actually go to the pages, and we're going to go to the home page. And you notice when you go to the editor here, there's nothing in this actual content area. That's because this template has what's called default content. So what you do is you click on the load default content, and there's what we were seeing here. We were seeing that default content. So what we're going to do, we're going to call this Flashy Sports Wear. So I've changed the title there. This is just dummy text. I think for this demonstration, there's really no need to change that for now. It's called Lorem Ipsum. It's good for filler text. In fact, there's a great website that I recommend. You can generator.loremipsum.info, but I can paste that link into
Muted.
Unmuted. I can paste that link into the chat window after I'm done with this demonstration. You'll see me use that here in a moment. But so, anyways, what we're going to do is the first thing I want to do is actually change out these default images, because like I said, this is going to be a sportswear website, so these images actually, they're just there for placeholders. You could use them if you wanted to, but for this website, we actually don't need those. So just for the sake of time, I've already uploaded some images into my media library, so it'll be nice and quick. So basically, you just double click on the image that you want to replace, and I've got some images here, so I'm going to put a jersey there. Just insert that image. I'm going to replace this one. I've got a wetsuit that I'm going to put in there. Let's see, wetsuit. And this other image we're going to replace with some running shorts. So there we've got those images in place where we need them. And as you can see, there's like little sample links in here. I'm actually not going to use those, so I'm just going to delete those out of each one of these cells here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a call to action button that looks a little more stylized to match this website that we're building here. So I'm going to make spaces for each one of those buttons. I just simply put the cursor at the bottom of the text and I'm hitting the return key. And I'm actually going to center these buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and center each one of these spots where my cursor is. And we're going to go ahead and put a picture in there. And when you go to insert graphics into either your email templates or your web pages or whatever, we've got some stock images that you can use. And I'm actually going to use some of those, but I'm going to customize it. So the first thing I want to do is we have these empty buttons. And I like this orange one because it fits quite well with the website that I'm designing here. Remember, when you choose colors for your website, try to find some inspiration. Go out there online and see what kind of color trends are popular right now. That's typically what I do. Is I'll go out and see what kind of color palettes people are finding popular these days. So for this website, I want it to use like a black and red and orange color. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert that button. And as you can see, there's nothing on there right now. So what we can do is we can actually double click that button again. And there's this edit image button. And you click on that edit image and it's going to open up our built-in image editor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some text to that. Just make it simple, by now. You just click draw and it'll draw that on there. And you're going to need to put it where you need it. So you just drag this around. I'm just going to put it right in the center. But it's like this kind of blue color, and that really doesn't fit with what I'm looking for here. So I'm going to actually change that to white. And then I'm going to get rid of the border color as well, because it kind of makes it a little muddy looking. There, now it's standing out pretty well. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Save JPEG or Save PNG, because this button actually has a transparent background on it. If you save it as a JPEG, it's going to put like a black background on it, and that's not going to be suitable for what we're doing here. So ideally you save it as a PNG so that it's a transparent background. So I'll go ahead and click Save as PNG. Now the image has been saved. And don't worry about this not refreshing. That's actually your browser cache doing its job, and it already has this image cached, so it doesn't know that there's been text added to that. But once I click Update Image, you can see that it drops it in there and it's got my text on it. So just to speed things up here, what I'm going to do is just copy that, and I'm just going to paste it in place at the bottom of these other feature items that I have here on the page. So while we're here on this home page, you'll notice that I have some things shut off down here at the bottom because I'm not going to be using those, because a lot of times they're default to yes. I've already gone ahead and set those to no, but basically what those do is show like your upcoming events, or if you have news or blog or contact site admin, it usually shows up at the bottom of the page, usually shows up right down here. But since I have those turned off, they're not displaying, which is what I want. So now that we're done editing these graphics and putting in the images that we want, I'm going to go ahead and save the changes that I've done. Sometimes it takes it a couple seconds, and it should be saved. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and refresh. And there you could go. You can see that we've got all of our images in place and the buttons there. But you'll notice something is missing. I don't have any logo or anything at the top. So what I'm going to do is real quick, which I should have done this actually in the beginning, but you can actually do it at any time. is you go to whatever group you're building this website in, and you click the little gear next to the group name, and that goes to your group settings. So what you'll do is you'll notice there's a spot to upload a logo. So for this demo, I've created a logo for my flashy sportswear. You just click Save Changes to your group settings. And now it's already got the logo there. Now we'll just go back to the website real quick here. And actually, you should be able to just see that logo now when we refresh. And there we go, right there at the top. One thing I'd like to do while we're on this website is I'd like to actually have social network icons up here. Fortunately, this template already has those built in. And a lot of our templates have what's called widgets. You can either add your own, or some of them already have them built in. This template just happens to have some built in. You just click on this Use Default Widget, and you'll see it drops some HTML code in here. And what that is just basically a box that has some social network icons in there. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to go ahead and click Save. Sometimes there's like a yellow box that shows up that tells you that the save is complete. For whatever reason, sometimes that doesn't work. I usually look at down in my browser window, it shows me that it's doing something. And then when in doubt, you just go back and you hit refresh to see if your save has been changed. As you can see now, we have the social network icons up here in the upper right. So now we're looking pretty good here. I'm pretty happy with this. We've got navigation all working. You'll notice that these buttons aren't actual links yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to add a store item to your store and then link these buttons to that actual store item. So we'll go back to Green Rope here, and we're going to go to Store. And what I did was I just clicked on Create New Item. And once you do that, you can put a picture in there, you can put a price, your quantity, and I can actually show you real quick what I did to get t-shirt sizes in there. There's custom field names, and I just put in shirt size, and then you separate your sizes just by comma, so you have large, medium, extra large, extra large. And once you do that, you would click Save. But click Add Item, but I've already got an item in here. We don't really need to keep adding items because this demonstration is just that. It's just for demonstration purposes. So I've already got one set up. And you'll notice once you've created an item, a link down here shows up at the bottom. So what I want to do here is highlight that link, and I'm just going to copy it to my clipboard. And then once you've done that, you go back to your page that you were editing. And we're going to apply that link to these buttons. So you simply click on the button and then click this little link icon. And you'll have a way to put a URL in here. So I've already copied that item, and you just click Paste. Since we don't need the HTTP, it's already there, we'll just delete that. I don't really need a color, so I'm going to turn the color off on that. And you just click Update Link. Now that's been turned into a link. So we'll go ahead and save. You can see down here it was doing its thing as it was saving, so that's done. We'll do a refresh. Now this is an actual link. You can see that these haven't been done, but if we had these items in the store, we would just do the exact same process that I went through, just apply it to each of those buttons. Could actually apply it to this shirt image as well, so we'll go ahead and just do that. Just highlight the image, click the link button, paste in that URL, and then we'll change the color to none, and Click Save Content. Wait for it to finish saving. And we hit refresh. And now that's an actual link, and so is the button. So to test that out, you can click on it and it should take you to your store. And there's the item in the store. So if somebody, if they wanted to pick that shirt in a large, and then you just add to the cart, and then boom, you're done. So that's how to build a website and how to create a store item and how to link to a store item. So what I actually wanted to do as the next part of this demo, which we get a lot of people ask for this a lot, and that's how to actually create a landing page. And landing pages don't necessarily need to show up in your main navigation. A lot of times they are generated by banner ads that you may have out using your Google AdWords campaigns, or from, let's say you're using a QR code on some kind of printed piece, or maybe a trade show booth. Landing pages are good ways to capture leads. So what we'll do is, I've already got one started here, but I haven't really done anything with it yet. I just called it landing page just for this demo. You'll see there's nothing in there. But what we'll do is, to create this landing page, the first thing I want to do is, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we're going to make this landing page a way for people to sign up to get a free sports or a free energy drink. So what we'll do is we'll put free energy drink, and I'm going to make that into a, actually here, I'll just get ready to make my next paragraph. But what we'll do is we'll highlight that. I'm going to make it like a heading so it's nice and large, and I'm going to change the color of it to a nice red color. So the next thing I want to do is, since we're going to have a sign up form on here, and I want that sign up form to be on the right side of the page, what we'll do is we'll use a table, because it's the quickest and easiest way to do a layout with some boxes on the page. So I just clicked on that table button right here, and it'll pull up your table properties. So what we'll do is we're only going to use one row and two columns, and that'll make more sense once you see how I do this. Its default width is 500 pixels, but we're not going to actually use pixels. We're actually just going to set this to 100%, which what that's going to do is make the table fill up the entire width of the page, no matter what size the template around it is. We're not going to have a border, because we want it to be sort of invisible once it's viewed on the website. So you just change that to 0. And for cell spacing, the same thing, we can set that to 0. But to give it a little bit of margin around my sign up form and the text and image that we're about to add, I'm going to set that to 20. What that does is it adds like a nice 20 pixel margin around the contents of the page. And once again, once I get the content in there, it'll make more sense of what these numbers actually mean. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And it's kind of hard to see on here, but there's an actual table here. Actually, it's interesting. There should be a border there, because usually there's a border that at least shows up in the editor. Oh, there it goes. Sometimes just gotta fool it by clicking source and then back, and that shows the actual table. You can see there's a gray line here. That line won't show up on the actual web page once we're done here. So I already know that, I'll show you in a second, but I've created a form already. I don't think there's a need to show you how to create sign-up forms, because we've already done previous webinars and we have lots of videos on how to do that. But I already know that the form I'm using is about 340 pixels wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this table cell to that width. And you just right-click on the table cell, and you go to Cell, and then Cell Properties. And in here, there's a place to put the width. So I'm going to put that to 340. It's kind of hard to tell in this preview here. I'll make it a little larger. You can see that it stays like a fixed size in this table cell here. But one thing I forgot to do while I was in there is I wanted to set the alignment to top, because the reason why you want to set your alignment on table cells to the top is you may not have the same amount of content on each side, and if you don't, it's going to set the alignment kind of funky looking. It'll try to center it vertically, which is not what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the table cell properties. I'm going to set vertical alignment top, and we'll do the same for the other table cell as well. Now, no matter what we put in either one of these table cells, it'll always align to the very top of that table. So the first thing I'm going to do is drop my signup form in there. And it's really great feature that we have is once you've created a signup form, you don't have to go back and copy the code and paste it on there. You just simply click this widget button and then just find your signup form. And I have one in here called demo. And then you just click insert widget placeholder. Oh, that's interesting. It shouldn't have made that width like that. Let me make sure that that cell, yeah, I don't know why that happened. There. Now we're at the width that we want. So the next thing I wanted to do is I want to put an image and a little bit of text in here, just basically describing what this energy drink is and why you would want to get a free bottle of it. But what we'll do is I'm going to actually have text in here and an image, but I want it to be all centered. So I'm going to go ahead and just click the center alignment right now, because that way everything I put in there will be centered after the fact. So the first thing I want to do is put a picture in there. And we'll put our energy drink. So you can see we have our nice green rope energy here, because all of our green rope people need to have lots of energy. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and have some text below that. So I'm going to hit my return so that it makes a new paragraph below that image. And just for the sake of time, I'm going to just go back to this Lorem Ipsum website that I was telling you about, highlight some of that text, copy it. You notice it has plain text here. That's what we want, because we don't want any formatted text. Like it might copy that blue color, which is not what we want. But since it's copying plain text, I've gone ahead and copied that. And we'll go back and we'll just paste it right below that image. And once again, this table cell is acting a little crazy here. I'm going to make sure that that's set to top. There we go. Let's double check on this one to make sure it's set to top. And we're going to center that. And that's pretty much what we need to do, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and save that page content. And we'll go ahead and test that landing page. And there we go. I think one thing I'd like to do is I'm probably going to want to center that. So what I'm going to do is go back to my editor, and just put my cursor in front. You can put it on the left or right side, it doesn't really matter. The same applies with images too. When you center an image, you just place your cursor to the left or right of it, and then you just click the center button, and then it centers it. So I went ahead and saved that. And one thing I'd like to point out too is, since this is a landing page, I don't actually want it to show up in the navigation. So you'll notice here where it says navigation, I have chosen do not show in navigation. And what that means is it's not going to show the title of this page anywhere in the main navigation. Because like I said, a lot of times for landing pages, they are linked from either a banner ad or a some kind of print material that you may have, or any kind of advertising that you have. You have a URL or a QR code, which you simply click a QR button and it'll generate that for you, and you would print this on whatever. And when someone scans this with their cell phone, it would automatically take them to this page, and then people could sign up for the free energy drink or whatever it is that your landing page is trying to promote. And the beauty of that is you're going to be capturing those leads into your CRM as well. And really, that's all there is to it. You'll notice this demo has been going for about 30 minutes or so, and within a half hour, I've basically took one of our existing templates and completely changed it to where it's something totally different than how it originally looked. So that puts a wrap on this demonstration. I guess I'll go ahead and open it up so that we can take on any questions that anybody might have. Let me get the questions out here where I can. Let's see. Teresa had a question: is Fashionable Pro responsive? And the answer to that, unfortunately, it is not. But I can tell you that in the future, we are going to be looking into making most, if not all, of our website templates more responsive. But real quick, on that topic, before I get to the next question, one thing you can do, and which is something else we may add in the future, is you'll notice down here below the page editor, there's a mobile optimized site box, and basically anytime any web page that you have, you can create a design and put it in here to where it only shows up on mobile devices. And usually what that means is it's just a very simple layout with very simple navigation. And like I said, we're looking into a couple of things. One, making our templates more responsive to where you wouldn't have to use this, or also ways to bring in an actual template that's already pre-formatted so that it would populate this for you. And actually, I can give you an example of that. I will show you our Greenrope website. So I've switched to the Greenrope website group, which I'm a member of. And we'll go to the pages here, and I'll just show you that our home page looks like here. And this is what I mean. It looks completely different than when you go to our desktop website. The reason that is a lot of times you don't want your entire website content to be available on a mobile phone, for example. So what we've done on our website is just kept it simplified for just the basics so that you get the basic information and the pricing and things like that. But let me go back to my demo here. And let's see what the next question is. Okay, the next question was from David. His question was, how do you determine the sizes of photos for backgrounds, etc.? Really, for background images, a lot of times this particular template, here, I'll pull it up here and go to the home page. This actual background image with the grass, it was set to 1600 pixels wide by 1200 pixels high. That's typically a good background image size. And a lot of times it depends on what the template is, but on my monitor here, it fills the whole browser size. No matter here, I can even actually stretch it out here, and you can kind of see that it kind of tiles there. You can see a bit of a seam, but most people are going to have a monitor that's within that 1600 pixel range. And a future enhancement we'll probably do to a lot of these templates is make some of those background images to where within the actual HTML code, it's 100%, so that no matter what size the browser is, that it'll set that background image to fit the full browser window. And that falls in line with making it responsive as well. Because a lot of times a responsive design, all it does is it stretches the content to fit large screens and shrinks it down to fit on smaller screens, for example. Let's see. The next question was also from David. he was asking what templates are responsive, and unfortunately, none of our templates are responsive. But like I said, we're actually on our to-do list in the development team is to take a lot of our existing templates, especially the pro templates, and turn them into responsive designs, because not everyone wants to have two separate mobile sites. Some people want to have all of their website and just have it be responsive. Like I said, we're actually looking into that so that we can make more of our templates responsive just right out of the box so that you don't ever have to worry about it. The next question, oh, actually it was a comment from Teresa. She said that she thought a few of them were responsive, and they're not really responsive. I mean, you can look at them on an iPad. Actually, all of our websites will work on mobile devices. Nothing gets broken. It reduces the actual size of the page where you have to zoom in a little bit to read it sometimes. Teresa's next question was pro. When I say pro templates, here I'll show you what I mean. What you do is you go to the design tab, and you'll notice it says Fashionable Pro. A lot of our templates, you'll see Modern Pro, Fashionable Pro. We've got Simple Pro, Slate Pro, Social Town Pro. I usually recommend clicking on Show Layouts. And in fact, when you click on Show Layouts, it by default will show all of the Pro templates. And what the difference between Pro and non-Pro is when you click on All Templates, you notice some of the templates that we have here are a little dated because our software's been around for many years, and a lot of these websites templates were built many years ago, which gives them that slightly dated look. But that's why we actually set this Pro templates as the default, because most of our clients actually use these Pro templates. And we're always updating these as well. We're always adding more templates. So that being said, most of the new templates, as we add them, we're going to try to make sure that they are responsive, and we will designate them so that you'll be able to see them, which ones are and which ones aren't. Does anybody else have any other questions that they wanted to ask? And it could be anything too. It can be, best practice type questions, like I was mentioning color palettes. Actually, real quick here while I'm thinking about it, before I forget, I'll go ahead and paste this URL into the chat window so that if any of you ever need to use that Lorem Ipsum just for placeholder text, because a lot of times when you're designing a website, you start off with placeholder text until your copywriter or your marketing person or whoever is writing your actual content has that content ready for you. So you can get like your demo website up and running so that you can see how the page will look without actually having the main text. Okay, let's see. We have a couple more questions here. How do we use outside widgets? Let me go back here. Sorry, I got to move these GoToMeeting boxes out of the way. So let me go to a page here. So for a lot of our templates have these spots for widgets, and like for example, this one had these social network buttons in here. If you're using another widget, a lot of times they supply you with HTML code. You would just paste that HTML code in here. Like, there could be a lot of times Facebook, for example, they have a way for you to make like a little miniature version of your Facebook feed, and you could paste that in there. Because a lot of our templates, they have like a column on the left or right side, and the widget will actually show there. This particular template just happens to have the widget at the top, which is where this is. But some websites actually have like a column over here on the right, and you would paste those in there for like for example, a Google map or the endless possibilities for whatever kind of widgets there are that you would want to use for that. And also, speaking of widgets, let me go back here. We do have, like in the actual page content area, like when I added that sign up form, you click on this widget button, and we have some that are already predetermined, like your news blog. You can put your group name in there if you want. Like I said, here's my any sign up forms that you ever create, they all show up there. You can put weather, like a weather for your, like my zip code is here in San Diego. So it automatically knows which weather widget you can put in there. You can put a store in there. There's a lot of predetermined. Oh, another widget that we use a lot of is this fading panels. And what that is it lets you set up like a few images that you would have in your media library, and makes like a slideshow that are very popular on home pages. For example, it just slides the image from left to right. Okay, let's get back to the questions here. The next question was from Teresa. For loading times on images, do we have to compress before? I can't see the whole question. Let me expand this out here. To answer the question, for loading times, do we need to compress the images before, or will GreenRope fix that for us? Traditionally, unless you use our image editor, you're going to want to use an external editor like Photoshop or Pixelmator. I mean, there's a lot of, there's another one called GIMP. There's a few free image editors out there if you don't have one. And those editors, when you save for web, for example, they will compress it as a JPEG. I highly recommend using JPEG if you don't care if the background is transparent. For transparent, you use PNG or a GIF with transparency added to it. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you've got those compressed before you upload. But if you do use our image editor, it will add some JPEG compression for you so that you won't have to worry about it. Let's see, Daniel had another question. He said, will all templates eventually get updated for space for widgets? I would say not all templates, but most definitely the pro templates. There's a good handful of the pro templates that already have spots for widgets. But as we, like I said, as we keep working on adding more templates and updating the current templates, then we'll continually make sure that we not only make them responsive, but also add place for widgets. The next question was from David, and this is actually a good question, and it actually came up yesterday. In fact, we were talking to one of our clients about our email templates, and the question is there an explanation for each template so we know what is included, such as widgets and what kind of content to add, etc. And I think we're going to figure out a way that when you're in the actual template browser, that there will be some sort of a description, not just a thumbnail image. I have some ideas. Since I'm in charge of a lot of our user interface design, I already have some ideas on how we can enhance that template browser so that there's an actual description that'll explain which widgets there are, the best use for that template, whether it works best for a landing page. And once we add responsiveness to them, we would put that in there as well, make a note that this is a responsive template and so on and so forth. So the next question was from Daniel, specifically like widget 1 space that you showed earlier. Like I said, that widget 1 was actually because it's in the actual template. And by the way, for any of you out there that actually do understand HTML, all of our templates are available for you to download, and you can actually edit the HTML code for those. And what I'll do is I'll actually show you where that's at. You'll notice here in the, let me move the GoToMeeting out of the way. Once you've chosen a template, what it'll do is it'll, down here at the bottom, you'll see download the raw template file. And once you click on that, it'll just pull up this, actually it tries to load it in the browser. What I would do is just right click and then save link as, and it'll download that to your computer. And then you'll have the actual HTML file. Again, this is only for people that do understand HTML and actually want to edit our template and customize it even more. I would say that's for power users, because you have to understand a little bit about HTML and our templating language. But once again, to answer Daniel's question, it just depends on the actual template you choose. And like I said, once we have a description in there, you'll be able to understand which ones have widgets and which ones don't. The next question was also from Daniel. Is there a way for me to customize a template to add my own widget one position? And basically, like I said, if you understand HTML, you could actually edit that template and you could position it how you want. Real quick though, on that thought, let me go back here. And like I said, you'll notice that inside this widget, there's actual HTML. You can actually see right, and this is a perfect example. This with the social buttons, which are in the upper right of the page here, these little social buttons up here, you'll see in the code it says float right. Well, let's say I wanted that on the left. I would just put left right there. Click save. Might be just the way the template's structured. This template was built probably about a year and a half ago. But to answer the question, yeah, if you do understand HTML, you can definitely go in there and customize the template how you see fit to get the positioning of the widgets a little better. Okay, the next question was from Nicole. If someone was to continue through the shopping cart and purchase, is there a way to send out an automated confirmation email? Yeah, actually there is. It's built into the system to do that. I mean, like most shopping carts. In fact, this is also covered in other webinars and other videos. Plus, it's also in our help files on how to set up automation like that. But there's even shopping cart abandonment. Like, let's say somebody adds something to their cart, but they never actually purchase it. You can set that up as well to where it would send an automatic email to them. Yeah, I noticed you were into wetsuits, and here's a special offer. We're offering 10% off. I mean, whatever you wanted to do, you would set up your email template to display however you want, and then it would just automatically get sent out if they abandon that shopping cart purchase. Is there any more questions? You're welcome, Teresa. How about translations? That's a good question. I do know that our software is set up for lots of different languages. I honestly, I don't know the answer to that when it comes to our actual web page. I will actually have to get the answer to that from our developers. I'm not sure about, because I don't know once that you place text in the web page if it's going to translate that automatically. I think it does, but I'm not 100% sure. I apologize for not having the answer to that. just by the way, any of these questions that if you have a question that I'm not able to answer, please feel free to send me an email at jason@greenrope.com. That way I have your email address, and then I can follow up with our development team and get the answer to that. So for example, about the question about translation, please email me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. David had a question, can you link an outside blog to these sites? Can you rephrase the question? What do you mean by link an outside blog? I'm assuming you're using a third-party blog. I mean, we have a blog function, obviously, but as far as link, you mean like link to a page or link to the actual site? Because typically what I do when I link to a page is, like, for example, I would just copy that URL, and then when I go into my blog, I would paste that link into the blog article. I think that's what you mean. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, like I said, if you use WordPress or Blogger, in fact, WordPress, we actually have a plugin for that. There's information about that on our website. If you go to our integration section that talks about the different plugins that we have available. In fact, you can download the plugins that we have. So for WordPress, it's even easier because it also ties in with the CRM as well. But yeah, like I said, you can copy the URL and paste it quite easily just by using the browser URL and copying it, because you can either copy just the main domain to go to the home page or whatever page you are on, or like, for example, the landing page that I had created. Let me open that real quick here so I get that page. You would copy this for your landing page or use the QR code like I was saying. And this page 3 in the URL, that's determined by the, you see it says page 3 here. I would just call this sports, or let's see, we'll call it energy. So once that's done saving, I test that link again. And now it says energy. So you would copy that URL and paste it into your blog so that it would take you directly to that landing page, since it's not in the main nav, as I was explaining earlier. Were there any other questions? You're welcome, David. Like I said, if any of you have any other questions that, like, if I couldn't answer, or if you happen to think of any other questions that you have after this webinar is over, you can either email support@greenrope.com, or you can email me directly at jason@greenrope.com if it's, website or design related questions. And by the way, we do offer creative design services now. So if any of you need help with any kind of graphics, not just designing a full-blown website or a landing page, but we also offer logo design, for example, or just general graphics design, because we understand that not all of our customers are graphically inclined. So we have an hourly rate for that, or we can do flat rate for certain things, like for logo design, for example. So feel free to go to our website. It's on the pricing page. There's a lot of information there about those design services that we have, so that we can help you out and make your website look as awesome as we possibly can. It looks like we don't have any more questions, so I guess we'll wrap this up. I appreciate everybody taking the time to join this webinar today. I hope I've been able to at least show you that we can. Oh, actually, we had one more question. Sounds good. Thank you. Please repeat your email address. Here, actually, I'll make it even easier. I'll put my email address here in the chat window. It's jason@greenrope.com. So there it is right there in the chat window. And once again, even if you forget the email address, you can always email support, and they know how to directly contact me. And we'll be able to answer the question as promptly as possible. Like I said about the translation of the websites, please send me an email, and I will get with our development team on that and try to get the answer to that to you as soon as possible. Once again, I thank everybody for joining in on this webinar, and I hope you all have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you very much.